During a recent interaction with a senior leader, this particular leader made a remark that John, leadership is a thankless job. I had my own perspective and points to share with him, which I did. There was a short debate, and of course, my focus was on trying to substantiate or make him understand as to why leadership is not a job. In fact, leadership is not a job, leadership is a responsibility. Whether it's a thankless responsibility or otherwise, that's something which can always be discussed. However, from my perspective, if you look at leadership as a job, then definitely you are out for a root shock. You can't look at leadership as a mere job. You have to look at it as a responsibility. I believe that each one of us has some leadership trait within each of us. However, how those leadership attributes forcefully come out to the forefront, that's a different question. And that's the reason many individuals, although they may have leadership competencies within themselves, however, many a times that gets subdued and it doesn't come to the forefront. And that's the reason why we do not have too many true leaders around. So even in companies, there would be managers. In various walks of life, there would be people who call themselves leaders. Unfortunately, they are not leaders. A leader is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. A leader would never set fire under the seat of his or her team members. A leader would set fire in the heart and inspire and motivate that particular person. So when you look at leadership, one point we all need to understand that when it comes to leadership, every leader should not expect too much. So this particular senior executive with whom I was having a discussion with, the root cause of possibly his disappointment or the reason why he mentioned that leadership is a thankless job is because of the fact that possibly he expected too much out of his team members and they didn't live up to his expectations. So there, understand that expecting too much from your team is also not going to be the right way. Also, you may do a lot for your team members, you may take very good care of them, support them in whatever way possible. However, you cannot expect them to pay you back multiple times, because at the end of the day, some people may have gratitude, however some may not. So you will need to accept that. You cannot expect to be treated as a role model or a demigod by all your team members. Some of them may respect you, some of them may show respect and not really deep down respect you, or someone may have an outright rejection in terms of you as a leader or as you as a colleague of theirs. So you will need to understand that each one or each team member of yours would have their own perspective or perception about you, and you will have to accept that. So you will have to take this particular proverb, which I have modified to a certain extent. It's, do not look at what your team members have done for you. Look at what you can do for your team members. So that's going to be extremely vital. So you have to do your best. In fact, during my discussion with this senior person, this point also came that, although I've done a lot for my team members, they do not count me as one among them. They always have this thought of us versus him. So now that's something which is beyond anyone's control. So he should just focus, and this is what I told him, on what he needs to do. There he should not think too much on whether he has to be a part of the group pertaining to his team members, because in a way, a leader, although he or she would be a part of his or her team, somewhere he or she should also not be a direct part or possibly have some level of distinction, because there has to be some demarcation or line between the leader and the team member. So in case there is no demarcation or there is no distinction between a team member and a leader, then there's definitely going to be a problem. It gets very difficult to exercise authority and to get results out of your team members. So leaders need to understand, just like as I mentioned to this particular senior leader, that one, leadership is not a job, it's a responsibility. Two, with every responsibility, there is power. However, how that power is utilized is going to be up to you. So ensure you use it in the right way and create benefit for your organization as well as your team and your team members. The third point is don't expect too much from people, because the moment you expect too much of your team members, for them to treat you as a role model or someone to look up to, so in case they do it, that's good for you. However, don't expect too much, because you expect too much and you expect too much in return from your team members for whatever you're doing, however you're supporting, then you'll definitely be disappointed, because every person has a mind of his or her own. So you can't expect someone to actually express or demonstrate gratitude to you. You'll have to leave that to their own will. The final point when it comes to leadership, what you need to understand is leadership is a quality which keeps evolving over a period of time. Not everyone can be a leader. Of course, as I mentioned, there may be attributes in each of us. However, not each one of us ends up becoming an inspirational leader. So accept the fact, for all those of you who are considered an inspirational leader, please ensure that you continue the process of learning and understand that the process of learning and becoming a better leader has to happen every hour, every minute, and every day. Because if you don't learn and get better, because every leader will also make mistakes, so until you learn, reiterate, and get better at whatever you do, you're not going to be an inspirational leader. So my very best wishes, and please understand, leadership is not a job. At the same time, it's not a thankless job. It is a beautiful responsibility which you have to manage and create excellence for your organization, your team members, and of course for yourself. Thank you very much for your time.